Alright, everybody, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Ringside Brew Wrestling Podcast. We are on episode 30.
Wow, 3-0. That's a milestone.
Yeah, 3 decades of Ringside Brew already. We are 12 episodes away from tying WrestleMania.
Wow, that's a big deal. That is a big deal.
Now we are hacking this lah. We are doing it every week anyway. As always, we're gonna start off with a quick introduction. My name is Dave. I have been doing pro wrestling for 13 years now. I'm also a creative and also a producer for about 2 years already. Joseph.
Hi, my name is Joseph. Moses with J because that's how you spell it. I have been a pro wrestler for 4 years, but I also do ring announcing and live commentary.
Right, Joseph, you look a bit dapper today. What's with the outfit?
I went out. We're recording this Sunday afternoon just to set context.
Yeah.
So I had a lunch, nipped out, had lunch, and came back. The answer I also wanted to give, which I had sneakily, was I just came back from the AAA Mascara contra Mascara signing. Because if you paid attention, when we're recording this, the contract signing just happened. And they wear suits and do the contract signing. But anyway, that's why I'm dressed so nice.
Joseph came back from Mexico within like an hour.
Yeah.
We all believe that. Anyway, guys, before we begin the podcast, as always, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube and Spotify, Ringside Brew Wrestling Podcast. We're also on Instagram and TikTok at ringsidebrewpod.sg. Okay, without further ado, guys, we do have a tradition here at Ringside Brew. That is to always crack open a drink or brew a drink. Depends on what we fancy. Before we talk about wrestling, so Joseph, you want to start us off with your drink?
I will. So what I have here today is a Sosro Teh bottle. So it's Indonesian tea, right? Bottled tea. Quite common in Singapore and Malaysia, I believe, as well. I kind of grew up drinking this. This particular one is actually low sugar. I don't know if you can see. Sugar.
I've definitely seen this in Indonesia before because my wife is Indonesian, so we visit every now and then. Yeah, so that's a nice drink. Anyway, I'm having something that's not in a can or a bottle today. I'm having something that's in a box. Okay, more specifically, I'm having tea. Right, this is Gryphon. Let me take a look. Gryphon Singapore. I had this before. We had one of glass. I had one of glass bottles. One, I believe it was some flower peachy flavor. I forgot what's the name of it.
White tea or something.
Yeah. So this one is Pearl of the Orient. It's jasmine pearl green tea with pink rose. I've already pre-made it in a cup and I've let it set for like 5 minutes. I can smell, my house smells like flowers now.
Oh, that sounds nice. It's like a cooking show, right? You're like, I put this in the oven and now it's prepared.
Yeah, I had Gryphon a couple of times already and I quite enjoy their tea. So, it's quite light and quite flavorful. So if you guys are into that, please check out Gryphon Singapore. By the way, we're not sponsored by Gryphon Singapore. No. I just kind of like their stuff. All right, so cheers, I guess. I'm having tea, so cheers, I guess.
You should go ahead. I will crack it open. Cheers.
It's exactly as I described, very flowery.
This tastes exactly like Sosro full sugar, but slightly less sweet, as you expect. But yeah, tasty.
Right. So shall we begin?
Yeah.
I just had a feeling that I wasn't recording, but I was, so.
Okay. Oh dear.
Right. So let's talk about... SmackDown was it was an okay show today.
It was fairly entertaining.
It wasn't today, it was yesterday, but I called it yesterday. It was fairly entertaining, but...
I know what you're going to say. There was one particular match that...
Yeah, there was one match that really, it was a huge stinker. I have nothing nice to say about it. We will get there. Yeah, but let's talk about the honorable mentions first, as always. We've got a few, but we've got one super big fat honorable mention because it was kind of like all over the show. But
kind of took up most of the show. Yeah, that big honorable mention. But yes.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that later. Right, let's talk about the first one, and that's JC Jane versus Charlotte Flair. Right, JC Jane on fire. Last week she had a match with Rhea Ripley, and this week she's having a match with Charlotte Flair. That's pretty hot news for her.
Yeah, I mean, she, like you said, debut basically against legends, and she cut a promo before this match, right? She and Fatal Influence came out earlier, cut a promo, and I bought the fact that she said, "Oh, I am a self-proclaimed legend killer."
Everybody's a legend killer nowadays. It's so easy to be a legend killer. I mean, Gunther is also kind of like a legend killer
true.
now.
Can say easy to say, but yeah.
Yeah, but toxic influence. Were they at some point called toxic influence, or were they fatal influence?
I think they were just fatal. I don't know. I think they were just fatal. But
anyway, fatal influence. Right now, they are kind of taking up the legend killer shtick, and they want to find problems with all these legends. So JC Jane had a match with Charlotte Flair. Which JC wins. That was very surprising for me. I
mean, there were shenanigans, but yeah, she got the pin.
Yeah, she got the pin. Toxic. I keep calling them toxic. What? Sorry, Kit Wilson is in my brain right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Fatal Influence. God damn, I lost my train of thought. Damn it, Kit Wilson.
Damn it.
Damn it. All right. So anyway, they beat up Charlotte Flair towards the end, and then Rhea Ripley comes out for the save. So right now, I think we're gonna see a storyline moving forward between Rhea Ripley and Alexa, because they did have a backstage segment, right? Where Rhea Ripley is trying to offer her help, but Charlotte doesn't really want it. And Alexa Bliss is kind of like caught in the middle. It's pretty cute, right? She was like, yeah, she's kind of right. We need like help, but and Charlotte Flair is like, no.
To handle Fatal Influence, who at this point, it seems that Rhea Ripley has forgotten about the previous trio she faced. The takeover.
Yeah.
And now she's just.
Yeah, for those of you wondering, it's the Jade Cargill one. But yeah, for the past 2 weeks, Jade Cargill and company hasn't even showed up. I also kind of forgotten about them. No, but I think it goes to show how little of an impact they made, or how seriously they were taken, because they didn't really feel that important, because we all knew that Rhea Ripley was gonna win. But on the other end of the spectrum, right, we look at Fatal Influence. I got it right this time. I didn't call them toxic. Fatal Influence, just in 2 weeks, they have more or less established their stocks.
Captured our attention way more, definitely.
They've already beat up the tag team champions. They kind of more or less beat up Rhea Ripley as well, and right now they've beat up both Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. So this is just how important it is to put over this young talent, right? These up and comers, because if you bring them up just to squash them, these guys don't get to make a good first impression, and they never will, because it's gone already. That's it's the same as losing your virginity, but you get what I mean, right? The first
impressions are so important, because you only get one, like you said, you only get one.
You only get one. You only get one first kiss and only get one first time. Sorry, younger audience, but anyway, so I'm quite excited to see where Fatal Influence is going. I would say I would buy it if they become champions really soon, and I don't think I will be that surprised to see all three of them holding gold towards the end of the year, because I think WWE is very, very high on them. So are we.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been a very long time since there's been a dominant all-female faction in WWE. Yeah.
Wait, let me just run through my archives.
Yes.
I don't think so. Maybe Damage Control?
3 years ago.
I don't know. Were they ever dominant? I don't know.
Yeah. So
but that's how long it has been. Joseph is right. That's how long it has been. So excited to see where Fatal Influence goes from here. All right. Absolutely. Let's talk about the next thing. We've got Danhausen.
Can't miss this Danhausen, Miz, and Kit Wilson. At this point, they can't miss. I feel.
I absolutely love this entire segment. So they had 2 segments, one backstage, one live segment. In last week, we were just about talking about how, this Danhausen and Miz rivalry had the potential to go far, but it was also kind of like treading on a line, on a very thin line, that it could start getting more repetitive, it could start getting boring. But somehow, some way, they have managed to keep us entertained for 2+ months already. Yeah, it's been that long. Right? Every show they find a new way to troll Miz and Kit Wilson. It's amazing.
It is. And Danhausen also, like you said, shows up. When you talk about the months, he shows up both Raw, SmackDown, right? Some weeks.
Some weeks. I think this week, I can't remember if he showed up on Raw,
but
anyway, let's talk about the segment. Yeah.
Yes.
It was a very Looney Tunes / Tom and Jerry segment. It was amazing. It was so freaking funny.
Even the Miz, I think he mentioned Looney Tunes in the first part as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So the premise of it, right, is that the Miz and Kit Wilson, they're trying to trap Danhausen to uncurse him backstage by setting up a briefcase of money and
human monies. Yeah.
And I'm getting there, right?
Okay.
And labeling it human monies. What? It's a giant sign that says human monies and it's put on a pedestal. That's how Looney Tunes it was. So Danhausen comes up and he opens the briefcase. He just takes the monies and walks away and nothing happens. And the Miz and Kit Wilson was like, wait, why didn't the trap go off? What is going on? And then they opened it again to check, and poof, there was a white explosion. And Kit Wilson, with an amazing comedic timing and sense, he goes like, yeah, I guess the trap still works. So
it's really what was it? The Roadrunner Coyotes straight up.
Yeah.
Copy paste. But it's so good.
So it's like the Roadrunner getting away with the carrot, and the coyote is like, what the hell? he goes
checks
up
the trap and he kena,
Yeah, so it was a pretty entertaining segment. I had so much fun watching this, even though it was like about a minute or two. Then they also had the live segment. So Danhausen comes out, the Miz also comes out. This time you can see the Miz, right? He's completely given up already. He looks so dejected. Brother has went through 5 stages of grief and has finally hit that last stage already of acceptance.
Wow, that's you're right. We've seen the whole arc. We've seen Miz go through the 5 stages.
So this week he hit acceptance. He gets into the ring, right? And he's like, you know what, everybody, I'm gonna admit it. I am cursed. And everyone's like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. It was hilarious. Then this whole story was about, from the very beginning, is Danhausen trying to get the Miz to mentor him. The Miz is about to agree. Kit Wilson comes out and they start fighting for the Miz, fighting over the Miz.
There was a fantastic handshake. Whose hand do you shake spot, right?
Yeah, so they both extended their hands. Miz had to choose, and then every time he looked at Kit Wilson, there were like loud boos. Every time he looked at Danhausen, there was loud cheers. Yeah. And mind you, right, the crowd was more or less dead the entire night, and this was what got them going. It was crazy. And then the Miz finally shakes Danhausen's hand, and everyone was going nuts over it. And then the Miz turns on Danhausen. It was
I got worked. I actually believe that, like you said, I believed Miz all the way when he came out disheveled, uncursed. He actually does shake the Danhausen's hand, right? I was like, oh, this is an interesting development. But Miz and Kit, toxic. Nothing but toxic.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, the Miz does attack. Kit Wilson also gets involved, right? And this is the first time we see Danhausen get one-upped, right? This is the very first time. Danhausen later goes backstage. This is a giant segment, by the way. Danhausen goes backstage, and then he's trying to get a match. And Nick Aldis says, you know what? Okay, you have a match at Backlash only if you find a partner to face the Miz and Kit Wilson. So now we've got a mystery partner situation for Danhausen. So who do you think it's going to be?
The first name I wrote down was actually Joe Hendry. Just because you just put all the funny characters together, I thought.
But that's so random with Joe Hendry.
I mean, also Joe Hendry is nothing on lah.
CM Punk also has nothing on.
Okay, you're right on that count.
All right, I think
CM Punk would be cute. Yeah.
Yeah, I think CM Punk would, do a hee ha ha match, and we all know like Danhausen and CM Punk are great friends in real life. So I could totally see CM Punk coming up to a thunderous pop as a mystery opponent. You don't really need to market CM Punk's appearance, lah.
Yeah,
but
yeah, you don't.
knowing
Yeah.
TKO, I think they might. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I out of all of this, I did make one side note that Kit Wilson, it's really good for him because after he had a split with Elton.
Yeah. Pretty deadly. Yeah.
Yeah, Pretty Deadly. He had a split, Pretty Deadly, right? He had this new song. He was popular for maybe like 2 to 3 weeks. We thought that he might be the flavor of the month.
Yeah.
And he could more or less phase out into obscurity then, but he got involved in this storyline. He's appearing week in, week out in one of the most entertaining storylines that WWE has to offer right now. So I think it's really, really good for Kid that he's staying relevant and playing his part. Yeah. Yeah, so that's more or less it for the Danhausen segment. Hopefully we'll see that mystery tag partner.
Yeah.
We don't know who it is. I'd say it's gonna be CM Punk.
Yeah. I like, just before we move on, I like your idea of just keeping it a secret all the way up to the match itself at Backlash, right? Scheduled for Backlash. It does feel like they will probably publicize it sooner or later. We'll see.
No, but if you think about it, it's like, what bigger curse, right? The Miz and Kit Wilson will probably scheme to get Danhausen to team with the weakest member of the roster, for the strongest fella to walk out. I think it's a very funny way to end off that curse storyline. But yeah, we shall see. Okay, let's move on to the giant
honorable mention. This big
honorable mention. So this week. Sorry, it's the Samoan one. Sorry, it's what I was trying to say. We got the entire Samoan problem. Everyone was involved, but actually not everyone. But we'll talk about it. So the story is revolving around Jacob Fatu, right? Jacob Fatu is kind of like running riot on SmackDown right now for some reason. So we start off the night with Solo Sikoa. Not start off the night. Sorry, we start off the angle. With Solo Sikoa and Tala Tonga. So I think some eagle-eyed people would at this point notice that, hey, it's just Solo and it's just Tala. Where are the rest of the MFTs? At that point, watching the show, creatively, everyone got destroyed except for Tala. So we thought that maybe they're taking time off this week, but as of this morning, or maybe even late last night Singapore time, we find out that JC Mateo and Tonga Loa both got released. I didn't read. I didn't explicitly read, or whichever it is. I'm not sure if they asked for it, or I don't know if they got released. TKO released them, but fact of the matter is they got released. So I hope they can find themselves, get back on their feet.
Step. Find the next. Yeah.
I hope they can get back on their feet. But that explains why some of the MFTs were missing. But notably, Tama Tonga was not released, which is,
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's take a few moments to talk about who got released in the MFT, right? You're right, Tama Tonga, because eventually he's going to turn on Solo, right? If they release him now, their whole storyline is just wasted, right? Tonga Loa, to me, has been the most forgettable member of the MFTs.
I mean, JC Mateo as well, because JC, he had so much potential, right? Jeff Cobb. He had so much potential. Like everyone, I think everyone in the IWC can agree that Jeff Cobb was such an amazing wrestler on the indies, especially his time in Japan and whatnot.
Yes.
And the States. So like I'm sure you can find work very easily. But Tama, you talk about how they won't release him when he's in the middle of the storylines. I'm gonna let you know that they don't give a shit.
We've seen Kyrie.
Case on point. Case on point, Kyrie. And also another two names. Sorry, we're going off rails for this one, guys, but just bear with us for a little bit. Because there's another two guys who asked for their release.
Yeah.
And they were also going through a storyline, right? So another two names that were released, they were Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. I think this is one of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
One of the more surprising ones, right? The two of them, the New Day. Yeah, it's quite bonkers to think that the New Day is gone now. It almost feels the equivalent of how the Hardy Boys were released because they were such a big part of WWE. And the New Day, obviously, right, in the more modern era, they are such a big part. Kofi especially, Kofi Mania, their legendary tag team run. And they were just released. So from what I read for this one, the internet is saying that TKO wanted to restructure their contracts. Okay, basically, I think they're gonna get paid less.
Yeah.
So if they were gonna be offered less money, they could have easily, if they didn't care about wrestling, they could have easily just sat in catering and just lived out their contract and get paid. Still considerably, handsomely, right?
Yeah, it's a choice.
But I'm guessing that they didn't want that because they want to wrestle. So they said no to that contract, and I think they asked for their release. So I thought it was quite bonkers that, these guys are gone. But at the same time, we can argue that, we want to see fresh faces. It's a very oxymoron chicken and egg situation. We want to see fresh faces, but we also want WWE to take care of the old guys. You can't really do both. We gotta pick one,
Yeah, I see your point from the business angle. Yeah, how do you do that? And you literally said they don't give a shit about the creative angle, right? Which is, to me, as a fan and as a performer, it's frustrating. It's straight up frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, the Kyrie one was the most frustrating, right? But yeah, just to bring us back to this Samoan problem.
The MFTs are now just 3 people.
Soon to be no more because Tama Tonga is probably going to turn on Solo. But anyway, this entire angle starts with Solo Sikoa and Tala Tonga coming out to attack Damian Priest and R-Truth, who had just finished their match. We'll talk about that later. And then Solo cuts a promo. He blames Jacob for the disappearance of his MFD family members. No, Solo. It is not because of Jacob. It is because of TKO.
It's your bosses you gotta talk to. Yeah.
Nah, but kayfabe lah, huh? Okay, so the Usos come out to interfere. And then, the Usos try to talk Solo out of it. They're kind of like talking down to Solo as well because he's the little brother.
Yeah.
And the Usos were saying that, this Jacob Fatu problem is Roman Reigns' problem. It's the OTC's problem. So they're telling him to step away from it. Solo being Solo, of course, says no. And they beat up the Usos. So that's the best summary I can give you guys. It's very convoluted.
Yeah. And this sets up for the main event of SmackDown itself, which is the Usos versus Solo and Tala.
Correct, but this is not the end of the segment. We have more. So what happens next is we get a backstage segment. Okay, by the way, I named this honorable mention. I named this honorable mention the Giant Samoan Clusterfuck.
It is a bit. It's not inaccurate. You're not wrong.
Sorry for my language, guys, but if you thought this was bad, wait till you see later. Okay.
Anyway, later.
So we get a very random segment between Royce Keys and Jacob Fatu. Apparently they're right now friends for over 15 years. I don't know how that happened. I don't even know if it's real.
Yeah, you don't know if it's real. I think that's the question, where is this new element just popped up out of nowhere a bit. Yeah.
Is there anyone out there who can tell us otherwise that this is not kayfabe? I have really no hard evidence that Royce Keys and Jacob Fatu are legit friends, apart from a very similar background story that both of them are from the streets.
Yeah. I don't know if they actually have time together in the indies. We don't know.
So basically this whole segment, right? Royce Keys is giving a pep talk to Jacob Fatu, basically telling him that, oh, Jacob, don't forget where you're from. Right? Don't forget the nights that we had to grind together in some random factory. Don't forget the nights that we were broke and we were on the streets. Don't forget the struggle. Don't forget the grind. Remember where you're from and give it to Roman Reigns. Strange pep talk, but okay, Royce Keys. I as random as it was, I kind of like it. Because this angle kind of like paints a different light. We haven't had this kind of storyline in the sense that we haven't had a commoner versus a royalty type storyline for quite some time.
Commoner versus royalty.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Jacob Fatu, obviously he's from the streets, right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's got a family to feed. He's a working man. He's a working class guy, right? Kind of like a commoner. But Roman Reigns, he's born into prestige. He's born into the bloodline. His forefathers were, WWE superstars. But I mean, you can argue for Jacob also, lah, right? Same family, right?
I mean,
So Roman Reigns is kind of royalty. So while him and his OG bloodline were sitting in limousines, private jets and whatnot, holding all the gold, Jacob Fatu was clawing and grinding his way up.
yeah.
So I thought it was a very interesting perspective, right? It's not something that you see very often, and I feel like there are a good number of audience members who are just like Jacob. We're all working class people.
Yeah.
We can get behind Jacob. It's a very, very niche demographic to reach out to, I feel. That's why it's so interesting.
Okay. Wow, a lot to unpack there. My initial reaction is, okay, you talk about royalty versus commoner. You're right. This is almost, the way I would see it now, is almost kind of Game of Thrones. Like there's a dynasty and then someone is coming up from underneath.
Yeah.
Target the king, a little bit like that, I guess.
Even that as well. I mean, like it's not as royal to that point, right? Because we have knights and swords and horses. But I see where you're getting at. I think you could also interpret it that way. That's why it's so interesting. But yeah, I'm really digging this storyline. But anyway, back to the segment again. As Royce Keys is having that pep talk with Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa and Tala Tonga attacks both of them.
Yeah. And actually, I think Fatu gets put through a table.
I think he missed the table. He just went straight to the floor. I feel
what I noted here is Tala attacked Royce. And if you remember, for those of maybe people, our listeners will remember in the Andre the Giant Battle Royale just before Mania, Royce and Tala were the last two men in that Battle Royale. So I think they're setting up for something there. The thing is, it's a bit of a low stakes match if it happens.
Yeah, it's very inconsequential. Anyway, I personally wouldn't put Tala and Royce Keys in a match because I think WWE is quite obviously trying to conserve Tala because he's a big man who can move well. And I don't think I want to kind of feed him to Royce Keys unless there's going to be shenanigans. But if you're going to do shenanigans anyways, why just skip it entirely then? Why it's a low stakes match. It's something that people don't really remember. Then why hurt any of these guys by putting them through that match?
Agreed.
That's my take to it. So where are we now?
So we finally get to Fatu and Royce have been taken out backstage.
We finally get to the main event. So we haven't touched the title scene, guys. Don't worry, we'll touch on that.
But this was a big one.
SmackDown's main event was Solo Sikoa and Tala Tonga versus the Usos. The match itself wasn't really very notable. But
no, it wasn't. No.
But in the end, Jacob Fatu comes out and he just destroys Solo and Tala.
Yeah, all the notable stuff, like you said, it didn't happen in the match itself. Happened after the match gets thrown out.
Yeah, so Jacob puts Tala through the table. I thought that was awesome. And then he did the
drop, right? Yeah, it was a Samoan drop.
Yeah, Samoan drop.
Yeah.
Then he did the Tongan Deathclaw on Solo. So at the start of the day, right? They were saying they were putting over the Tongan Deathclaw so much. They were saying that, nobody uses the Tongan Deathclaw. That's the last resort. It's a forbidden move.
Yes.
Even though it looks like a weak ass choke, guys. But
it's a choke, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the law, right? So it's the move that has been made famous by their forefathers once again. It's a forbidden move. If you watch like anime and whatnot, this is like the no-go for wrestling, right? Yeah. When you should never use this move, right? So there's two rules when it comes to Samoans, right? It's number one, never ever headbutt a Samoan, and number two, never ever F around with the Tongan Deathclaw.
It's almost black magic level of don't touch.
Yeah. So I guess Jacob Fatu has broken that taboo, and he's a very, very dangerous man with some thick fingers and a choke.
3 fingers. You have to take 3 fingers to be able to lock it in. But anyway,
okay, guys, I'm being sarcastic, right? But anyway, awesome law. So this entire thing is quite crazy. Jacob Fatu obviously is still gonna go after Roman on Raw, I think, but we shall see.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're finally done with that big ass chunk.
wasn't the worst, which we are almost getting to. But yes, that's our honorable mentions.
I hope you guys are actually following the listeners, right? If you guys are not following, please let us know in the comments. But we're doing our best. It is a very confusing segment. Okay, so let's get to the title scene. Let's start with the women's first. I think the men's title scene had a lot more to unpack, contrary to last week where the women's had more. Let's start off with the women's US title.
Yes. So there was no match, but Tiffy had a live backstage interview.
Yeah, so I can't stand Tiffany. I really, her voice, I zone out the moment I start hearing her talk. Right?
Dear.
Okay, I still get the gist of it. So basically, Tiffany Stratton is kind of like opening up the title match. Julia wants in, but she gives it to Kiana James instead, with the premise that, let's see how well Kiana can do without Julia telling her what to do.
Yeah.
So while all of this was happening, Chelsea Green was kind of like there.
Well, she announced that her foot is healed already, I think.
She said it's a birthday, isn't it? Happy birthday. She said something about happy birthday or it's her birthday. Don't quote me on that. I have a lot of information in my brain, but something about she's got the best gift ever, and that is she can stand again.
Yeah. So Chelsea Green is back. She's back, I guess.
And I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if she's clear. But as Tiffany walked away, Chelsea Green clearly ran after Tiffany. So I don't understand why she had to sit on the wheelchair to begin with.
I love Chelsea Green is hilarious.
Yeah. So I'm glad that Chelsea Green didn't get cut from all these talent cuts. But any Chelsea Green is always a welcome on my programming. Right now she's trying to pander to Tiffany Stratton, trying to become a best friend, which is also quite interesting, and I think it's going to be quite funny.
Yeah, I mean, she does need a new storyline because we talked about releases. Her Slagen album Alba Fire got released last week only.
I can't believe they actually gave that word a go ahead. It's a Slagen. It's what a mix of slave and Asian. Is that what it is?
Well, it's slay, like she slays, right?
Oh, okay. Right.
Now that you mention it, the slave. I don't know. I never saw it, but
right. I guess I have a darker perspective to these kind of things.
Another thing from this segment is, of course, they've already they've seeded it last week. Kiana, James, and Julia. There's tensions, right? Because now both of them are targeting, eyeballing the same belt.
Yeah. I think the trouble with... I mean, I can see why, obviously. And I would also more than likely push Kiana James over Julia because it's what the programming needs, right? As of now, the United States Championship, the scene, it's full of colorful characters and it's less of a workhorse or work rate title compared to the men's side of things, right? Where, we had Sami Zayn with Carmelo Hayes putting out banger after banger.
Week after week.
Yeah, Ilya Dragunov as well. He's also disappeared. But anyway, so Julia, if the women's US title was put up for open challenges week in, week out, which she probably won't because the man is doing the same thing.
Right.
But if it was hypothetically a open challenge every week, then I think Julia would obviously be the right candidate for this because Julia is a good wrestler. She's very decent at what she does. She moves well, she dresses well, she looks good. But that is only as far as the wrestling goes. I think her biggest limiting factor is because she cannot speak English.
Yeah, that's sad. It's sad, like hearing you break it down like that, because she's put in a spot where she actually needs to speak. Yeah, right? Using this storyline, right? Yeah, this particular storyline, this particular scene.
Right. So, what they need now is characters to uplift the title scene, and Julia obviously cannot keep up because of her inability to speak. Now I can't say that she cannot speak. Maybe because creative is stopping her. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, she just can't speak English, and she needs Kiana to be the mouthpiece. So, I think that is why she's falling behind. And Kiana is obviously she can speak English. She's not a bad character herself. So I can see why Julia is falling behind. But if this was a open challenge, a wrestler kind of thing every week, I think Julia would definitely fit in. But I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Julia fall off our screens like pretty soon. Hopefully not lah, Yeah. But yeah. Okay, I want to talk about one thing very quick before we go to the other big side. Yeah, so our women's champion, Rhea Ripley, was involved with Shalexi's storyline, so there's not much to talk about, which means there's only one title left to talk about.
The tag team titles?
Yes. Okay, our dear audiences, be warned, from here on out, our language and our demeanor is going to be extremely vulgar. So I think Spotify, I'm not sure about YouTube, but at least Spotify, they do break up our chapters. So if you don't want to hear us say nasty things, please move on. Skip this part because I have nothing nice to talk about. The WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. So I'm going to give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's begin.
Yes.
What in the flying fuck was this match? This was horrible. What the hell?
It was a mess. It was a hot mess. Trash fire.
They should be fired. I can't believe I can't believe we released all this wonderful talent to make way for this bunch of jokers. Yeah. Okay, let's give some context, right? We had a promo, a backstage segment between Paige and Brie Bella before their title match against Irresistible Forces. The promo, no substance, so vanilla. I think I could do a better job than them, right?
Yep. It was very unmemorable. Absolutely.
I'm back. Are you excited? What the Okay, so never mind. We get to the match. It is a logical match because Irresistible Forces, they didn't get pinned at Mania, so technically they can say that, hey, we want in for the titles again.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the match itself.
Yeah.
It was a hot piece of garbage. So many missed spots, so many missed times. They were even lost multiple times in the match. How do you get lost 2 to 3 times in an 8-minute match? It's almost as if
tag team match. Tag team match.
It's almost as if you guys didn't even plan for it.
Wow. Brie and Paige in this match, very clear ring rust is still there.
I was on the side of the fence where, Paige comes back, right? Paige, she has a story, she has a credentials, right? She was, I wouldn't say she was one of the best wrestlers, but she was better off the bunch last time. But what I watched, I wouldn't say it's entirely Paige's fault, but as a collective, it was so horrible, right? Brie Bella, I don't know, she was out of place like twice. She messed up a hot tag and she almost messed up the finish because she obviously she doesn't know how a banzai drop works.
No.
Right, so look, at WrestleMania when Paige and Brie Bella showed up, even the Bella twins at the start, we said that, okay, this is a nostalgia pop. WWE has brought them back to get fans, that portion of fans to start watching again. Great, right? Nikki Bella gets hurt. Never mind, we bring back Paige. It's the same reason, nostalgia pop, right? It's a completing the story. It's a roundabout moment. What was that? What's that term called?
It's a comeback moment. Full circle.
It's a full circle moment for Paige, right? She's back in WWE. And then I thought that, hey, they win the titles. I didn't like that. I didn't support that because right, we had so many other wonderful talent out there. Bailey, Lyra, Kabuki Warriors, who else? Even
Shalexa.
Shalexa, Judgment Day. Right? Raquel. All these ladies who were fighting for the tag team titles over the entire year, week in, week out. Just to have these two nostalgia acts to come back and win the title. Okay, never mind. Maybe they're fine with it. And then these are the champions going on a very easy TV show, and they can't even do the basic. They can't even get the basics right.
No, it's quite unbelievable.
Can you
talk about
no, you go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely 100% with you what you just said about the regulars grinding it out only for this to happen. I mentioned ring rust. Ring rust, beyond the fact that, okay, maybe your match you can't deliver a 5-star banger. At this point, what we saw, Brie, Paige, Irresistible Forces, this ring rust is dangerous. They could get hurt, like you said. Brie messed up so many things, messed up a Bantai drop. Is dangerous at this point.
She didn't mess up. She was just in the wrong position. But I mean, you could argue, right? But I don't think Nia is such a bad worker to the point she's just going to drop on Brie regardless, right?
I agree. At this point, you bring in Nia. I agree. Nia, at this point, I like her work. Lash as well. But in this match, for some reason, they as the regulars, shall we say, the regulars, even the veterans, they couldn't cover up for Brie and Paige, the champions, their mistimes and their mistakes. They couldn't, but for whatever reason.
I can't really... All right. As far as it matters, right, you can't really blame the two of them because it's so hard to work with two, not just one, two headless chickens. Right? Obviously, you if you watch the match, if you break down the match, you could see Lash Legend desperately trying to bring Brie Bella back to the right position. They are obviously carrying Brie. And I think even Nia was calling some spots in there, right? I don't think they didn't try. They did.
They did try.
It's just so hard to work with headless chickens. And Nia herself, even though she's been around for some time, you can't say she's the best worker out there.
She has come a long way, but
she has come a long way. I've got to give that to her. She has come a long way. Lash is still pretty new to this entire thing, right? She just debuted on the roster not too long ago.
Yeah.
And if anything, it just screams over ambition. It feels like they prioritize doing cool things more than telling the story of the match. What is even the story of the match?
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the story. So when this match was announced, my head immediately thought, okay, this is going to be super underdog versus a brick wall, right? Because visually, that's what we're presented with. Two regular-sized women versus Lash legend Nia Jax. They did not tell that story at all.
In fact, they went toe to toe to them.
Yes, they were able to actually bring them down very fast, right? Yeah.
So I think what you're trying to say is the David versus Goliath storyline.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Nia went down easy. Lash went down easy. It's a bit hard to believe, but hey, in some wrestling matches nowadays they don't really care about that. But even so, if you piece everything together, if they were so rusty, if their movements were so bad, right? Why not keep it simple? Because there was such a low hanging fruit in the form of the David versus Goliath storyline there. It's such a low hanging fruit. They decided not to take it, and they decided to go for some fancy, clever finish, which I'm not gonna lie, it was, but they were so slow to capitalize because the finish was Nia falling on her ass and then pinning her.
Yeah.
It's just bad, right? So I absolutely hated this match, and the fact that WWE, or rather TKO, has released multiple female talents just to, free up some budget. Right?
Yeah.
That's obviously to free up budget, guys.
Balance the spreadsheet, yeah.
Right? And to see this kind of performance from our reigning tag team champions, guys, ladies, I know y'all are nostalgia acts, right? You have done your part. And again, guys, nostalgia act is not necessarily a negative term. You guys bring the nostalgia pop. You guys bring old fans back. That I give you, right? You bring a part of the audience that has been lost in time back to WWE. That's good on y'all. But at least pull your goddamn weight. It's so bad. Can you imagine all these other ladies who grind out throughout the year watching that match and they go like, you know, sure, everyone is safe. Safety number one.
Yeah.
Always. Wrestlers, safety number one. But I got cut because of that crap.
Yeah. And it creates, like you said, it at best it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. At worst, the locker room just becomes quite a nasty place to be in, right?
It does. It does. So, okay, right. I hope they honestly do better. I hope they turn this around. I'm not sure whether or not they'll take the titles off them at some point. I'm sure they will. But what I saw yesterday was a clear indication that they shouldn't be champions.
100%. 100%.
Okay. That's the cut. All right. So
okay,
let's move on.
I still got tea left. I can calm myself down. I will calm myself.
Apologies for the very colorful language, my friends. It is very disappointing to see such things happening, but you know. All right, let's talk about the men's scene now.
Yeah.
The SmackDown Tag Team titles. We did mention just now, Damian Priest and R-Truth got jumped by Tala Tonga and Solo, but the match itself, it was Damian Priest and R-Truth versus Faction.
For the titles, it was another title match, right?
Which was never a title match because Damian Priest gave it away.
So this was set up backstage, right? And I personally, I think maybe it was just a me thing. I found it confusing from the start. And I think because there were multiple points where Truth started gaslighting Priest, I got confused very early on in this segment. Maybe it's just me.
No, it's so basically it's just meta storytelling, right? Because the whole past couple of weeks, Truth has been kind of like giving away title matches.
Right.
Without Damian's knowledge. So this week, Damian shows up and he assumes that Truth has already gave up that match. And he goes up to Fraction, who Truth was already speaking to at that point. He goes up to the three of them. He goes like, you know what? I don't even want to know what's going on. I'm going to see you guys in the ring for the tag team titles. I'll see you guys later. And Fraction, they're like, what? What are you talking about? Are you sure? You know what? We'll take it. And they leave. And R-Truth is like, you can't be giving out title matches like that.
and then that's where Priest goes, and
this is where the gaslighting starts, right? And Priest says, no, but you always give out tag title matches. Then he's like, no, I don't. You do. You just did. and Priest is like, Pikachu face over there. He's like, But that's how the match came about. The match itself was okay. Just one thing to note, like, for Damian Priest, right, I think this would be a good chance. Opportunity, I would say, for him to turn heel at some point. Yeah. Because the dynamic between Priest and Truth is that, Truth is constantly getting Priest into trouble if you think about it. And obviously they do well, as much as I would say they are very entertaining together. But Damian is such a stoic and serious character, so much so to the point to his detriment. Sometimes he's a little bit dry to watch.
Hard to connect with.
That's why Truth kind of like helps to revitalize him a little bit. But once they drop the tag team titles, it's very hard for Damian to go back to being babyface Damian.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I would say that if they want to keep Damian around in at least the mid card or the upper cards, they need to get Damian to turn heel on Truth. So that, it's a fresh restart to his characters and we don't go back to that dry Damian Priest again.
So you think them losing the tag team titles will be a good chance for Priest to do that?
Yeah, it would be a good chance. But if he doesn't, then I don't know when's the next bus to take already lah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, where will Priest go if this is not the ride he's supposed to get on?
Yep. Okay, then we'll move on to the men's US title. This was also quite a heavy one. Okay, before we go anywhere, I'm just going to give you a context first. Okay. So this is a Sami Zayn live segment.
Yeah.
Right? Sami Zayn cuts a promo. He talks about his ride or die fans, which I always think that is interesting because no wrestler has publicly pandered to people who support him and kind of like disconnected with people who don't. Yeah,
he worked both sides of the arena, as it were.
He worked both sides of the audience, which was just never been done before. Maybe there has been, but not of recent memory.
I can't think of any, but you're right. Like working both sides of the audience,
which is interesting. But then we get to the Gingerbread Man. Okay, so let me lay this out for
you gotta paint the picture. Paint the picture,
Okay, listen, guys. Sami Zayn cuts the promo, and Sami Zayn attacks the inanimate Gingerbread Man.
The costume.
He rips the Gingerbread Man to shreds. And then Trick Williams, he runs out to save the gingerbread man. He saves the inanimate gingerbread man.
But he threw up, and then he threw up an X sign when he realized how badly the gingerbread man costume has been savaged.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, there's a huge pop for Trick Williams. But anyway, context continues. Then we go to a backstage segment where the inanimate gingerbread man gets sent to the trainer room, and he dies inside the trainer room. So it was out of a Grey's Anatomy or not Grey's Anatomy, some
ER or Grey's Anatomy, medical drama
is what I was going for. Sorry, he's right out of a medical drama. Trick Williams, he's so angry about Sami, right? The interviewer, I think it was Kathy Kelly, she was speaking to Trick Williams. How does he feel about the attack? And Trick Williams straight up just calls Sami a savage. You know, how can you attack the gingerbread man? The doctor comes out and he asks the doctor, "Come on, doctor, give it to me straight. How is the gingerbread man doing?" And the doctor says, he does the sad cutthroat, indicating that the gingerbread man is no longer with us. The gingerbread man died.
and WWE went further, right? They went further after this, like you said, medical drama segment.
Yeah, there was more.
There was an in memoriam like visual for the gingerbread man. Like,
R.I.P. Gingerbread Man. Yeah, R.I.P. Gingerbread Man 2026 to 2026. And it doesn't stop there. Wait, there's even more. Next week, there's gonna be a live funeral for the gingerbread man.
So I was laughing, but at this point, everything you just said, is absurd.
No, but you can imagine the creative team sitting at the table, they're going like, you think the people will get a good pop out of this? And then this shit comes out. No, it's good shit, right? I love what I'm watching.
It's interesting, but then the question is, I think when I say problem, I'm probably a bit nitpicking. My problem is, up to this point, this Sami, Trick, and Gingerbread Man story, yes, there's been comedic elements, right? Because, of course, when you see a gingerbread man come out dancing and whatnot, it's funny.
Yep.
It's comedic, but I wouldn't call it comedy because it's like a bad practical joke, how I read this whole story up to this point. But now I'm supposed to treat the costume as a live person.
It is very funny. You gotta lighten up. It is quite funny.
Okay.
The gingerbread man has been willed into existence by the fans. Anyway, interesting segment. We will get a match between Sami Zayn and Trick Williams at Backlash, but I can't wait to see the funeral next week. I'm telling you, next week, right? They're gonna put the gingerbread man in a coffin, and Sami Zayn
gingerbread coffin, I bet.
Whatever it is, right? The gingerbread man's gonna be in the coffin. And Sami Zayn is gonna come out and desecrate the grave. He's gonna do it, I swear. And then it's gonna be like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's not a real thing. Why are you guys booing me? He's gonna desecrate it. I swear, guys. It's gonna happen.
Here first. Yes.
You heard it here first. Okay.
It's entertaining. I give you that. Anyway.
Okay, that brings us to the last title, the one held by Cody Rhodes. We had a NXT call-up in the form of Ricky Saints. They did tease Ricky Saints appearing this week. And it was against Cody Rhodes. So it was a live segment at first. Cody comes out, he's cutting a promo. I think even before he starts to say anything, Ricky Saints interrupts. Yeah. Now, I actually initially wrote that, the crowd is very, very dead to Ricky Saints, but to be fair to him, I think the crowd was ass the entire night.
They were quite flat, except for Danhausen, as you mentioned. But this crowd was flat. Yeah,
this crowd was quite flat. So I'm gonna give Ricky where credit is due. I don't like Ricky, and it's for the most mediocre reasons. It's because I don't like how he looks. I think he's got a CB face, and because of his narcissism. But hey, he's a heel. He's doing his job. So
That's
job.
the assignment.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good
That's
job,
the
Ricky Sainz. You have managed to make me hate for stupid reasons. But yeah, I think Ricky Sainz is the kind of character that I think he's not going to work very well as a face. He's definitely going to be an anti-hero type of character, right? He cuts good promos. You could hear. I don't know why the internet is saying that he botched his lines. Dude only stumbled a little bit.
Yeah, he stumbled on one word, but I felt it wasn't a big deal. Yeah.
I mean, comparing this to the hot mess earlier, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, this I thought he cut a good promo. Obviously, I think the face, right? His face is a bit hard to buy him as a baby face. So I think it'll be hard for him once he turns into an actual baby face. I think people will start cheering him as a heel because, it's cool nowadays. Right?
Yeah.
But hard to say where Ricky Sainz will go from here. He did, challenge Cody to a match. Yeah. And then, the fact that WWE is letting Ricky Sainz, or rather pushing Ricky Sainz to Cody right off the bat, I think it speaks volumes about how much how high they are on for Ricky Sainz. So I thought this was great for Ricky.
Agreed.
Match itself was okay. They almost kind of botched the finish.
Ricky almost landed on his head during the crossroads.
No, he didn't land on his head, but getting into the position, right? Cody almost dropped him.
Yes. There was that as well.
Yeah, but he saved it. But yeah, so it's not too much about Ricky because we had a surprise attack.
Yes, Gunther jumps Cody after he wins the match. Chokes him out, puts him to sleep.
Yeah, so Gunther shows up on SmackDown and puts Cody to sleep and stakes his claim for the WWE title. Now, one of the burning questions is whether or not this was the favor that Paul Heyman owes to Gunther. Because earlier in the night, we see a very, very small background. Basically, it's one of those backstage segments. You see two guys talking at the forefront, then there's like two guys like hiding in the background, having like some dodgy conversation. It's one of those things that and Paul Heyman was there, Nick Aldis was there. So is this the favor?
Nope, I don't think this is the favor.
Yeah, me too. I think that Gunther is gonna still at some point call in a favor for Brock Lesnar. I still want to die on that hill. Yeah.
Okay, so you still think yes, you've mentioned this before, but you think the Brock Lesnar retirement is not done
because it's so
he will
random.
Be unretired.
It's so random and so sudden. Like, I wish to believe that it's not because there's so much money to be made. I'm sure Brock would want one more big payday.
Okay. But no, okay. So I have two thoughts. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, my initial reaction to, Brock will be unretired is you can't devalue the act of putting your boots in the ring. There's that. But you're right that what is a bigger favor that you could ask Paul Heyman for?
What?
Right? So that is as big as it gets. So we'll see.
Right. So, anyways, we don't know yet. We're just speculating at this point. But I think for Gunther, this is a very good reset for him. Just like how he had the reset against Seth Rollins, right? Because this whole time he was being bound by his career killer gimmick. And we have said this many times before. If you label him the career gimmick, then he will only appear once there is a career to kill. And that's not what you get on a weekly basis, a monthly basis even, right?
Yeah.
So essentially shackling him down. He can't appear, but he's also one of your biggest stars. So obviously, I think they had to change the messaging because you realize right now the messaging has completely changed already. It is more of a resume for him now as opposed to that's his only gimmick.
Yes.
Right?
You're right.
The commentators, they no longer say that, oh, damn you, Gunther, you only want to kill careers. But now they don't say that anymore. They are like, no, Gunther has already retired X and X and X. This person, that person. Now he's coming for Cody. So I think it works because it makes his resume so much more dangerous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if I were to be honest, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if Gunther actually does take it off Cody before... at some point, maybe clash at Italy, some European tour.
Yeah. I was about to ask you that question. Do you think Gunther will take it off him? It would be a good time to take it off Cody, where he's at on his downward eventual heel, where he lands up, slide down the heel towards a heel, I think.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be, yeah.
I don't see Roman losing the title until SummerSlam, because Roman himself has already announced that he's gonna be around until SummerSlam. Right?
Yeah,
it's a lot of money to be made in this entire Roman Reigns championship reign. No pun intended. But who else can drop the title? And I think Cody, it could very well be able to drop the title. It's more of the chase anyway for Cody. Cody is more of a chase guy rather than a let me hold the title guy. But a little part of me wants to see a SummerSlam that doesn't involve Cody in a title match. Maybe Randy.
We haven't seen for 2-3 weeks.
It's a very far away idea lah, But for all intents and purposes, maybe it's gonna be a career versus championship match.
What? For Randy? You mean Randy and Gunther?
Yeah, I know.
That would be an interesting idea.
It's very far-fetched.
Yeah. It's not very WWE, but
if I'm correct, I think y'all can build an altar already. Build me a statue.
That would be a cool match, though.
No, I don't think so. It's very far-fetched. Yeah,
it's not what TKO likes, I would say. I would have to say, yeah.
All right. Anyways, that is more or less it for today's review. We do apologize for the outrage on
sorry, not sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. As always, guys, I lost my train of thought. I felt the rage boiling up again.
Okay,
let me get the outro right. As always, guys, thanks for tuning in. You know where to find us. We are on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts, Ringside Brew Wrestling Podcast. If you prefer short form content, or you want to stay updated to the news for our stuff, follow us on Instagram and TikTok as well. We are at ringsidebrewpod.sg.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we do have a community Discord channel. So how do you join it? Go to the Instagram that I just mentioned, look in the bio, our Discord link is there, click on it and you are in. Come join us. We talk about wrestling every day. And one last thing, we do have a small donation platform. It's a buy me a coffee page. So I've set the donation value to the minimum, the least that the system allows me to. So if you guys want to support us more than just the likes and shares, subscribes, you can help sponsor us a drink to help tide over this episode, then in the future episodes, right? If you don't want to do that, that's fine too. We completely respect that. As always, the social media stuff helps out. Like, share, subscribe, follow. That will help us go very, very far. So we will appreciate if you could do that for us. All right, so I don't think I have anything else. Joseph, do you?
No. We've got one more week to Backlash. Basically, one more Raw, one more SmackDown. If I'm
That's
not
crazy.
Wrong.
You mean next week is Backlash already? Cannot be lah.
Cannot be.
No, we'll work that out behind the scenes as we always are. But anyway, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Have a good week ahead.
Bye.